All right, good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us for this experience. The topic of immunity is so vital to our health, and the more we know about how the body works, the better equipped we are to defend ourselves. And I think that what I'd like to do here is initially just talk to you about what exactly we're dealing with when we're talking about immunity. So I'm just going to go into my PowerPoint presentation right now. Here we go. So my name is Dr. Alma Nenshi, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a chiropractor from Calgary, Alberta, and I'm currently in my 21st year of practice. I have an interest in serving families by being a resource for them. So not only helping them heal the effects of traumas, toxins, and stress and that sort of thing, but also trying to be an advocate for education. I believe that education is powerful. And when we provide people with evidence-based health information, it impacts their lives and their families in such a great way. We want people to live their lives based on informed health choices, and so that's why I created this webinar. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and choosing this time to spend with me. I hope you enjoy the presentation, and certainly if you have any questions, just type them into the chat box and we'll address these at the end. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about the role of immunity in our lives. So the immune system is a complex of cells and organs that defend the body against infection. And there are several parts to an immune system. We have our white blood cells, we have antibodies, we have a complement system, which is basically a component of plasma that helps antibodies kill bacteria. We have our lymphatic system. Our spleen is the largest organ in the lymphatic system, and its primary function is to filter blood of damaged cells and cellular debris and pathogens like bacteria and viruses. And we also have our bone marrow and thymus. And the spleen and the thymus are both involved in helping our immune system cells. These cells specifically that we're talking about are lymphocytes. And we want these immune system cells to grow healthy and mature. And the spleen and thymus are critical in helping that happen. So I'm wondering, are you able to see the presentation as I'm clicking through it? Because I'm going through several slides. I'm not sure if you can see the different slides here. Can someone quickly click yes? No. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do. Just a little glitch in this. I wanted to make sure that the slides were moving. Okay, there we go. I just had to hit a different key in our on our computer. So basically, go. Okay. My apologies. So we just covered basically what the immune system comprises of. And again, it's white blood cells, antibodies, the complement system, lymphatic system, spleen, bone marrow, and thymus. And we'd like to talk about the immune system also being involved with defending our immune system is a defender. So, you have a lot of things in our body that give us signals that they're working. So, for example, you can hear the beating of your heart. You can physically feel your lungs expand as you breathe in. So you know that these organ systems are working. But the immune system itself is silent. Even though we are much less aware of our immune system, it actually is working 24/7 to protect us from thousands of potentially deadly organisms out there. So I'd like to take a minute to examine the different lines of defense used by the immune system to protect us. So the first line of defense is known as innate immunity, and this ranges from different protective mechanisms that we are all born with. So your innate immune system provides non-specific protection against various pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, protozoa, fungi, all these fun things. And a number of these defense mechanisms serve the innate immune system, which includes, we can use physical barriers such as the skin, there are chemical barriers, and certainly we know that there are chemical barriers such as antimicrobial proteins that can harm or destroy invaders that we don't want in our body. And there are also cells that attack foreign cells and bodies, you know, anything that is an infectious agent. So I would like to delve a little bit deeper in the defense mechanisms of what innate immunity is. So when we're talking about protective barriers, the skin is an external barrier, and it's made from layers of cells that all stack up and serve as a protective barrier to infection. So not only does the skin provide a protective barrier to keep the invaders out, but it also secretes fatty acids and enzymes. And the fatty acid, oleic acid, can kill certain bacteria with the enzyme lysozyme. And that can break down the outer wall of certain bacteria, enabling it to protect the body. Internally, we have mucous membrane linings. These are another type of skin that is found in the respiratory tract, in the gastrointestinal tract, the genital urinary tracts, and these mucous membranes protect us by providing a protective barrier of the cells that are constantly being renewed. So these membrane traps small particles to prevent them from attaching to the cells. Okay. So when we're looking at cellular level responses, we're looking at chemical barriers to infection. So a crucial aspect of innate immunity is actually the chemical barriers that we have to infection. So when microbes penetrate the body's protective barriers and enter into the internal tissues because they've not been able to fail, they have to encounter a variety of chemical substances that then kick in to try and prevent these microbes to grow. So there are many mechanisms and cells by which chemicals work to harm and destroy the invaders. And these processes go well beyond the scope of what we're going to discuss here. But just know that there are chemical barriers to infection, and they're continually on the lookout for foreign invaders and ready to strike at any time if they do pass through the body's protective barriers, such as the skin and the mucous membranes. So let's talk about early induced responses. So this is the final process of innate immunity that we're going to discuss today. So many of you are familiar with this response, but may have only heard of it or the dangers that it can pose. Specifically, we're talking about inflammation. So inflammation can eliminate infection or hold it in check until specific acquired immune responses have time to develop within the body. So an infection often results in tissue damage, and this can trigger an inflammatory response. So the signs of inflammation include pain and swelling, redness and fever, which are all induced by chemicals released by macrophages. And I know that this is getting really technical, but a macrophage or macrophages are born from white blood cells, and the specific type of white blood cell that makes them are monocytes. And these are produced in the stem cells in our bone marrow. So a macrophage has the ability to locate and eat up particles such as bacteria and viruses and fungi and parasites. So inflammation is a healthy protective immune response. And the only problem happens is when inflammation exists chronically in the body, because chronic inflammation can lead to chronic disease. All right. So the second line of defense that we're talking about when it comes to immunity is called acquired immunity. And acquired is named as such because you're not born with this form of immunity. It's acquired through exposure to pathogens. So the first line of defense this line of defense of acquired immunity comes from exposure to an infection or disease, or from another person's antibodies. So, for acquired immunity, it's well established that people who contract certain diseases and survive, they generally don't catch those illnesses again. So this is the reason why. When your immune system is exposed to a pathogen, it learns to recognize it, and it can make your immune system better equipped to fight off that type of germ the next time you're exposed to it. And this is what acquired immunity is. So it's dependent on specialized white blood cells known as lymphocytes. And lymphocytes are the cells responsible for the body's ability to distinguish and react to almost an infinite number of different foreign substances. So lymphocytes originate from stem cells in the bone marrow, and they can travel and multiply in response to an appropriate stimulation. So if you've heard the terms T cells or B cells, these are referring to different types of lymphocytes. So both T cells and B cells recognize and help eliminate foreign molecules, but they do so in different ways. So lymphocytes are distinguished from other cells by their capacity to recognize foreign molecules by means of receptor molecules. Now, a receptor molecule is a special protein whose shape is designed to fit foreign molecules. So think of a receptor molecule like a key that fits into a lock. So foreign material that binds specifically on that receptor molecule, that's called an antigen. And antigens include molecules found on the invading microorganisms, such as the viruses and bacteria and protozoa and fungi, molecules located on the surface of foreign substances, pollen, dust, transplanted tissue, that sort of thing. So certain antigens can induce an immune response when they bind onto a receptor molecule, which, like a key, just turns on. So one of the many incredible abilities of the immune system is that it keeps a record of every microbe that it has ever defeated. And this enables the immune system to recognize and destroy the microbe quickly if it enters the body again, well before it can multiply and make you feel sick again. However, some infections like the flu and the common cold have to be fought many times because there's so many different viruses or strains of the same type of virus. And these can cause these illnesses and same symptoms. So if you catch a cold or a flu from one virus, it does not give you immunity against other viruses. So this ability, this ability of the body to have record keeping is basically how you acquire immunity through vaccinations. So the immune system is triggered by a small amount of an illness in order to produce antibodies. And then that enables the body to quickly launch an immune attack to kill off a virus for future exposure. All right, so what are we expected to, sorry, I'm just kind of going into my notes here. So what we are exposed to basically dictates our acquired immunity. So for example, where we live, the vaccinations we've been given, our exposure to different environmental conditions, these all impact our ability to fight off viruses and various diseases. So if you've ever experienced allergies when you visit someplace for the first time, this is usually due to the exposure of something in your system that you're not already familiar with. And next time you visit, you may not have the same reaction because of this acquired immunity that you have created within your body as a result of that first exposure. So because we're exposed to different pathogens, we all have our own unique immune defenses. This means our immune systems vary from person to person. While we all have similar innate responses, such as our skin barriers, our acquired immunity can be vastly different. And in fact, recent studies have shown that our history and environment, like where we live and whom we live with, these are responsible for 60 to 80% of the differences between individual immune systems. Genetics counts for the rest. So let's talk a little bit about overactive and underactive immune systems. An overactive immune system can result in a number of conditions, including allergies and autoimmune diseases. So allergic diseases include allergies to foods, medications. You can have an allergic reaction to a bee sting or other stinging insects, anaphylaxis, hay fever, sinus infection, asthma, hives, dermatitis, and eczema. These conditions result when the immune system makes an overly strong response to allergens. So we also have autoimmune diseases, and these include multiple sclerosis, autoimmune thyroid disease, type 1 diabetes, systemic lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis, and systemic vasculitis. And when the immune system mounts a response against normal components in the body, that's when the immune system starts to attack its own body's tissues. Autoimmune disease is usually to blame. So an underactive immune system, also known as immunodeficiency, does not function correctly and makes people vulnerable to infections. It can be life-threatening in severe cases. Immunodeficiency can be inherited, so it can be genetic, and include conditions such as common variable immunodeficiency or CVID, X-linked or sex-linked severe combined immunodeficiency, which is called SCID or SCID, and complement deficiencies. So immunodeficiency can also arise as a result of medical treatment or be caused by another disease such as HIV, AIDS, and certain types of cancer. So what can we do? Now that you have a more in-depth understanding of the immune system and how it works to protect us, let's look at ways to strengthen your immune system. So the ability to boost immune function is complex. It's always under study. This is due to the fact that the immune system is a system. It requires balance and harmony amongst its parts. And the interconnectedness of the immune response is quite complex. So we should look at the effects of lifestyle, because that's what we are in control of. And what is being researched out there right now as to what helps give your immune system a boost. So tips to boost your immune system. Your first defense really is to live a healthy lifestyle. And by being part of this webinar, you already are, I can already tell that you have an interest, an active interest to live healthy lifestyles. Not only will your immune system benefit from having to or leading a healthy lifestyle, but every part of your body will function better when you decide to not smoke or eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables. Exercise is so important, especially with this time of physical distancing. We need to find ways to continue to keep our heart rate up and exercise regularly. Some ways of doing this can be even climbing the stairs in your home, or keeping the physical distancing and taking walks outside in your neighborhood. Maintaining a healthy weight is also important. And I know even in my own household, the pantry door seems to be opening quite a bit when we're all cooped up inside. So, you know, we have certain things that we might be engaged in. It just means that we have to look at what are the choices we make, and perhaps choosing healthier snacks rather than carbohydrate snacks and other things that don't offer as much nutritional value. If you drink alcohol, drink in moderation. Sometimes people use alcohol as an escape, and we need to make sure we have a support system in place that can help each other. So of course that's important. Get adequate sleep. A lot of people aren't sleeping right now. There are a lot of people who are stressed out. There are a lot of people who are out of their regular routines. So trying to create a regular routine, having set wake up times and bed times, sleep hygiene, you know, turning off all of your electrical devices 3 hours before you go to bed, specific times for meal times. These are all things that help to help you get prepared to have a good night's sleep. Trying to take steps to avoid infections. We've heard so much about washing our hands frequently, and you know, 20 to 30 seconds under warm water and rubbing vigorously is the best way. And of course, trying to minimize our stress. We cannot control what we are exposed to in terms of stress, whether it's physical, chemical, and so on, emotional. But what we can do is think about how we receive or interpret that stress that's happening around us. Do we have strategies, coping mechanisms, a social network, or something in place that can help us neutralize the effects of stress? And this may be something as simple as setting aside time during the day to do things that you are selfishly fully engaged and only benefiting from. You know, you don't have to look after your family all the time. You need to look after yourself. And when you look after yourself, you're better for the rest of the people that are dependent on you. So trying to minimize stress and having those windows of times where you can pamper yourself, you know, taking a bath or, you know, doing something that you enjoy. That is really critical at this time. A lot of people at this time are also thinking, you know, I have all this time on my hands. I have so many things on my to-do list that I never had a chance to finish. Let's get back to it. And one of the challenges here is you can get overwhelmed with so many of these to-do list items that you don't give yourself appropriate balance in life. And again, the busyness that that you had before all of this physical distancing started, you're recreating that inside your household. So, you know, these are just some suggestions, some tips on trying to help boost your immune system. And let's go into these in a little bit more specific way, especially when it comes to diet and your immune system. So it has been well established that people who are malnourished are more vulnerable to infectious diseases. So unfortunately, another group of individuals who are susceptible to micronutrient malnutrition is the elderly. And this is because older people tend to eat less and they often have less variety in their diets. So micronutrient deficiencies, for example, deficiencies in zinc and selenium, iron, copper, folic acid, and vitamins A, B6, C, and E can alter your immune responses. And if you suspect your diet is not providing you with all of your micronutrient needs, take a multivitamin or multimineral supplement, and that might help increase the power of your immune system. So let's talk about stress. I mean, I know we've already just discussed this, but you know, chronic stress is common. It is not, I don't want to say normal, because normal implies that it's something everybody should experience and it's a normal part of everybody's life, and in fact could be mistaken for healthy. I don't think stress is healthy in any amount. Okay, let me rephrase that. I think that you need stress in life, otherwise you would be dead. But you need to be able to manage the stress that you have in life. So some people can have very small amounts of stress and not be able to manage that. And that can be a bigger problem than people who have a lot of stress but have healthy ways of managing it. But one of the things that I think, even before COVID, is the amount of chronic stress that people have. We have busy schedules, you know, packed social calendars. There's more stress now in our lives than ever at any other time in history. So obviously, since COVID, there have been a lot more other stressors, such as financial burdens and anxiety. And all of this together, your history and what you're experiencing now, all contribute to chronic stress. And when we experience stress, hormones are released in the body. And while it's helpful when we're in danger and we need to flee to safety, constant stress causes these hormones to remain present all the time. And the result of chronic stress leads to a never-ending list of diseases and illnesses, ranging from depression to heart attacks. And during times of stress, your immune system can also be affected. So, you know, we need to really think about what are our stress-reducing activities. There are common things that people do, but there are special things that work for you. And trying to engage more in these stress-reducing activities is not only beneficial to your overall health, but it is beneficial to general immunity as well. So I know we've covered a ton of information today, and I'm hoping that if you have any questions, I'm going to open up this little chat box here that I had minimized, see how many of you have been writing in it, and we can go through and see what questions you have. And I mean, it's okay to let the information sink in too. If you don't have questions, that's okay too. So let me see, what do I have here? Does anyone have any questions? Nobody had, oh, here I'm just, oh, here we go. All right, let me see. Okay, so the resources that I have for this information, there are a bunch of resources that I have that I can post into the chat box if you want to copy and paste them for yourselves. Just gonna copy here. And I'll put that in here. So hopefully everybody can see these. So those are the resources that these are websites that you can go to learn a little bit more about what we talked about in the seminar here today. There was a question about probiotics and would probiotics help, like coconut milk, kefir, pill form. You know, I think that we have an enteric nervous system, which is in our gut, and our gut lining is very critical. When we have a healthy gut, when we have healthy gut function, then we have a healthy working body. And so anything that supports gut health is a good thing. And some people find that supplements, if they're not getting enough from their diet, supplements can help. So yes, I think that you need to take a look at your specifics in what you're doing and making sure that you have a wide variety of different foods that you enjoy eating. And for people who are interested specifically, you know, what's a good source of vitamin A, or what's a good source of B6, or what's a good type of, you know, natural probiotic that we could eat from different food sources. All you need to do is go onto Google and type in that question, and you'll get a whole slew of information there that you can see if it can fit into your lifestyle. So, you know, I'd like to take a minute now just to thank you all for attending the webinar. I wanted to, you know, I really appreciate that you're all taking time out of your day. I know that this is complex information. It's something that everyone is working on and is very, you know, interested in knowing what we can do to boost our immune systems. I'd like your permission to do a poll real quick to make sure that this presentation was something that you guys found valuable. So it's just a little poll, and I thank you for participating in that. Certainly, if you have any other questions in the future, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll type in my email here on the chat. And here we go. You can get into the chat again. It's askus@calgarywellness.com. And I'm getting blocked out of the chat now for some reason. So all of you probably have received an email from me that has a list of different types of seminars that we're having over the rest of April and May. I am so interested in making sure that we're providing evidence-based health information that you guys are interested in learning. So if you have any suggestions for you know, something that you want to listen to or something that you'd like to learn about, please send me an email. I would be happy to see if I could make something special for you. Okay. And also, if you need to talk, you know, if you want to give me a call and just consult with me briefly on, you know, some of the things that are happening in your life, you can feel free to call us at the office. It's 403-254-5774. And, you know, we do have a special time on Fridays at noon where I just open up a little Zoom meeting, and we can all see each other in this meeting, and we can just hang out and chat and just have a good time together If you're interested in attending those Zoom meetings, just shoot me a quick email and I'll be happy to send you the link for that. So thanks so much, everyone, for your time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, same time, at 1 o'clock every Wednesday. When it's Wellness Wednesdays at 1. I would love to see all of you. Please share the link that you had for signing up for this webinar with your friends and family. So if you enjoyed the webinar and you'd like to be able to share it with them so they can participate in future webinars, we'd love to be able to spread the word. So thanks so much. Have an awesome day. And it's Dr. Nenshi signing out.